Hello, everyone.
Have a seat.
Welcome to Torah. Yeah, I think he's here. It's all good.
Leon,
Yeah.
you can move over.
Leon will sit here. You can sit there. Welcome, Julie. Welcome, Valerie. Welcome, Paul. Welcome, Jerome.
Welcome.
And Leon is somewhere coughing. Just getting coffee. That's what I mean, I said coughing. Okay, and welcome everybody online who's here. David Grossman. Are you good, Brenda, as well? Glenn Anderson is here. Getting warm wherever you are. Here in Winnipeg, it's cold today. What is it, 12 degrees right now? I hope you enjoyed the summer, guys. Yeah, that's the joke, right? I always tell that the first time I came back to visit Argentina after I moved to Winnipeg, they asked me, how is the summer there? I said, I don't know, I've been there only 11 months. That's the truth. Wow, 12 degrees. Anyway. But we are going to study about Shavuot today because Shavuot is coming, and I'm sorry we had to cancel Sunday class. Valerie is here, and hopefully somebody else from the class is online. I don't know. Shelley couldn't make it, just a doctor's appointment, and who else was there? Was somebody else online? I can't remember. So, anyway, okay. So let's begin with the class. Brenda is here as well. She said you can have our heat. I don't think it works that way.
I wish it did. I know a couple places could use our rain.
I don't think it works that way. Anyway. Now, the first thing Judy Sharak is here as well. Good afternoon to you, Judy. David Grossman said, we live in North Texas. They probably have better, in general, it's warmer, right? Texas, even their winters. But they have some serious weather there, with tornadoes and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so what happened with Shavuot, it's something that doesn't happen with any other holiday, okay? And it's if I ask you, what do we celebrate on Shavuot? What is the answer?
Torah.
The giving of the Torah. Where does it say that?
Where does it doesn't. It doesn't. It's a festival of harvest.
It's not in the Torah that the Torah was giving on Shavuot. Okay? Even though the rabbis decided through oral law that that's what it is. There is this, the rabbis tried to explain it because basically the question was always, well, if God communicated that orally to Moses, so it's part of the oral law, why is not part of the written Torah? Don't you think it would be an important thing to know when the Torah was revealed? And then the argument is that no, because to say that the Torah was revealed on a specific date, right, makes it a little bit less important than the other days. So the fact that we know what it is, but it's not in the Torah, it makes it, the message is that the Torah gets revealed anew every day. And it's up to us to receive it. In fact, one of the names for Shavuot is Matan Torah. Matan Torah. It comes from the Hebrew verb litnot, which means to give. So Shavuot is the giving of the Torah. Okay? And you know why that's important? Because you may think it should be called receiving of the Torah, not giving of the Torah. Because that was the day when the people of Israel received the Torah.
Right.
No, that's when the Torah was given. It's up to each one of us to receive it. The giving was a fact. The receiving was up to each individual. Right? So that's why the festival cannot be called Festival of the Receiving of the Torah. It has to be called Festival of the Giving of the Torah. But again, going back, that's why there is no, according to the rabbis, there is no mentioning of there is no explicit mentioning of the giving of the Torah in the Torah, in the written Torah, part of the oral law. Okay? But what it makes Shavuot unique and different from the other festivals is that in every festival we celebrate something that is happening on that date. On Shavuot, we celebrate something that happened. Because Shavuot is the festival to celebrate that we just counted 7 weeks. We finished the counting. It's over. So now we celebrate that we finished the mitzvah. So technically there is no mitzvah that date.
Right.
Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, the mitzvah is all the counting each day.
Yeah, it will be like in Passover, we celebrate at the end after we finish the week. But that's what Shavuot would be. So, yeah. Anyway, so let me explain. Let me bring a little bit back of this. The first text that I have for all of you, it says, these are the words of Rabbi Isaac Aboab, who was a Spanish rabbi from the 14th century. And he explained it very well, with very few words. He said, the festival is called by the Torah the festival of Shavuot, or the festival of weeks, because it comes after the completion of 7 weeks. That's why it's called Shavuot. Shavuot as a word has no reference whatsoever to the giving of the Torah. Okay? Which is the weirdest name for a festival. Yeah, we counted 7 weeks. Which basically means, according to the Torah, according to the written Torah, that the counting is more important than the revelation itself. Because the counting is mentioned, revelation is not. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
The counting is mentioned and celebrated.
Yeah.
The revelation is not. Everything of the revelation comes through the rabbis. Okay. Welcome, Amparo Goldman. Welcome to the class. Okay. So with that in mind, I will explain. Yeah. The very name Shavuot, weeks, which the Torah uses to refer to the holiday, refers to the fact that represent the culmination of a process of 7 weeks. I have to have that clear. Now, let me bring a little text here from Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev. Do you know that name? You should. I think you will be great friends with this guy. What he did is he put God on trial. Right? So he put God on trial. He lived in Ukraine at a time of pogroms and much suffering for the Jewish people. You know, in the late 1700s, early 1800s. So he was looking around, the level of observance of the Jewish people and the piety of his peers, and he couldn't understand what they did to deserve all the suffering. So he put God on trial and found God guilty and commanded that God should end the suffering of the generation because they did nothing to deserve that. Do you agree with me? He will be your friend?
Yes.
See, I'm starting to get to know you. He was a very interesting character because it's unique in Jewish literature. And then
There are a whole group of Orthodox that follow the Virgin Levy.
I don't know, but there is a song about the putting God on trial. Somebody wrote a song, and it's a very cantorial style. It was one of Rabbi Green's favorite songs. The thing. After the class, if I can, I will find it. The song of Rabbi
A
Berdichev.
very similar story is told about the people in the death camps on the Shoah, putting God on trial.
Yes, and I believe that's when the melody was created as a reminder. Yeah. So, this is what Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev says. Listen to this. I was asked once, while in Lithuania, why the festival of Shavuot is called by the name Atzeret. Aha, this is other name that we have for Shavuot. It's not biblical, it's rabbinical. Okay? The rabbis, in fact, when you go to the Talmud, the rabbis don't talk about Shavuot. Why? Because Shavuot does not make reference to the Torah, right? So the rabbis wish to give Shavuot a different kind of aura. The other reason why they do that is once the temple was destroyed, what do you have left for Shavuot to do? There is nothing. We don't have a special. Let's say Passover. You still have the Seder. You have the Matzah. Sukkot. You have the Sukkah. The four species. What do you have on Shavuot? Other than cheesecake, that it wasn't invented back then. Right? We don't have anything. So, the rabbis.
Isn't the parading of the processing with the Torah?
Well,
Shavuot?
no, that's Simchat Torah. But this is also something that it was done. Even Simchat Torah as a festival is rabbinical, and it was created for the same reason. Temple is gone. What do we do now? Well, let's do something related to Torah, because when the temple was destroyed, Torah became their portable temple. The temple is in Jerusalem. The Torah goes with you wherever you go. So that's why every single holiday incorporated something related to the Torah. Something that we should remember. Okay? So let me read about Atzeret. So, somebody asked this rabbi why Shavuot is called Atzeret. Okay? This name is not used in the Torah except when referring to. Where is the name Atzeret mentioned in the Torah? Shmini Atzeret. Shmini Atzeret, which is the end of Sukkot.
Yeah.
Shmini Atzeret. That's the only time that the word Atzeret is used in the Torah. Nothing to do with Shavuot. It's related to a different holiday. Okay? Shmini Atzeret, last day of Sukkot. We understand that all the festivals have names connected to the event that happened on that day. This is true of all the festivals except Shavuot, as I mentioned before, which is named for the mitzvah of counting, which has already been completed. We must understand why the festival is named after something that has already happened. And the answer is because it is the conclusion of the mitzvah. This is also the reason for Shavuot, that we make a festival at the conclusion of the mitzvah of counting that God gave to us. So it's like, for example, when you build a house, you celebrate after the house is done,
Right.
is completed. So this is, God gave us the mitzvah of counting, we finished that mitzvah, now we celebrate. Okay? For this reason it's called Atzeret. What does Atzeret mean? Completion. Or tarry.
Right.
Like you will see in a minute. Now, what I want to say here, and this is very important for us to understand, is the concept of counting in Judaism. Okay? And it's interesting because there is a relationship with the parsha of this week, that it also talks about counting. Well, hello there. Hi. Are you the usher today?
Yes. Over there.
Welcome, Phyllis.
She found her own seat.
Okay. Oh, you were helping there?
Will be.
Fine. Okay.
2 o'clock.
So,
I have a half an hour.
There
so
you go.
we are talking
Good
about
attitude.
counting, okay? And there are different situations in Judaism where we count. The Omer,
Yeah.
we count. What else we count?
Hanukkah candles, the nights of Hanukkah.
Okay, we count, but also we count days when something happened.
Yeah.
We count people. Right when they come to synagogue, we have to count if we have a minyan. Once in a while, and it's mentioned a few times in the Torah, and many more times during Jewish history, we have to count how many we are.
Census,
Okay, and I don't want to give too many spoilers because that is the speech of this week's Bnei Mitzvah. They are talking about, well, I can tell you because you came to the class. So they are talking about how sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes it's unfortunately, we have to hit the stop button and to count how many we are. It happened after the Crusades. How many Jews are left? After the Holocaust, how many Jews are left? We need to count. Counting is important. And in the old days, was even a method to count people. They used to give a coin each, and then you count the coins. This is funny, because in Judaism, we are not allowed to count by pointing.
Yeah.
You know why? It's a superstition. And I always wonder where it's coming from. It has to do with evil eye. Because basically what it said is, when you count, and as you count, you point at somebody, that soul get judged by God. If you don't point, God judges us as a group. But if you get pointed during accounting, all of a sudden you stand alone in trial.
But that's like what sect of, I mean, we don't do that.
No, well, but no. Hold on, no. We do. We kind of do, and I will explain why. So let's go back. Back in the time of the Bible, everybody gives a coin, and then you count coins. So nobody knows whose coin is whose. So all you care is how many people you have. But for the synagogue, when you count for minyan, you're not allowed to point. You know that? What you have to do is you look at people without pointing, you look at people, and you have to recite a verse containing 10 words. There are a few. One is Oshie Tamecha. I think Matovu also. Matovu lecha Bani verov chasdecha bo veitecha. So no. You have to say it. Matovu alecha Yaakov mishnotecha Israel Bani verov chasdecha. So you recite. So if when you finish the verse, you have enough people, then you know you have a minyan. But you are not allowed to point.
I remember hearing that.
Well, but the point thing is, It's more of the traditional. It's a tradition and a superstition. Some people is very. You don't see it anymore. But in the old days, if somebody went like this in a synagogue, they would freaked out. Freaked out.
Regardless,
They have so many
regardless whether you're conservative or whether Orthodox or
reform.
Reform.
No, well, mostly the Orthodox world will do it. Maybe one day I should talk about the superstitions because I will tell you something. Here in Canada, everybody removes the shoes to enter the house, right? Traditionally, you only remove your shoes in the house of mourning. So back in my house in Argentina, if I dare removing my shoes inside the house, my grandmother will freak out. Are you trying to kill me? Are you ready to sit in Shiva for me? Nice. And here she will go with this guilt trip. But now, because there is so much dust and mud and snow that everybody does it. But in places where you don't do that, nobody's allowed to remove their shoes unless you go to a Shiva house. Just so you know. So, but again, let's go back to the concept of counting. It's very important. We count people because we want to know how many we are and to let people know each one of you is special, right? But the same thing when we count the days between Pesach and Shavuot is the same concept. Like every day is special and every day brings something. It's not that there are just 50 days in between Pesach and Shavuot, right? The number 50 is diluted in nothing. You know what I mean? It's not that we count 50 days. No, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, which is not the same. Because when you count every day, you have a better awareness of the passing of time and what every day means to you. Let me give you another example when that concept is used. Okay? You know how used to be calculated the tithing of cattle. You know what is the tithing of cattle? Tithing of cattle, of animals. Let's say that you are a farmer, or you have 1,000 sheep or goats. You know that from that 1,000, 10% is for God. You know that? It's called tithing. Giving 10% of what you have. Back in the days, it was mandatory.
Right.
Once the temple was destroyed, it was discontinued. But the way it used to be done is because I can go to you and I said, Phyllis, how many sheep do you have? And you will say, I have 1,000. Okay, thank you very much. Please send 100 to the temple. But it was not done like that. The way it was done is you have to put them all in a corral, and then they will pass one by one through a narrow corridor. And then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th will receive a red mark. They will use some kind of paint. And then you let it go. And then again you start 1, 2, 3, 4. The 10th, another red mark. And then you go around and you take all the red marks. And so why has to be that complicated? Because if I say how much you have? 1,000. Give me 100. You say, whoa, that's a lot, right? But if you count one by one, you're aware that 9 are yours. The 10th is not. So it feels different. That's why we don't say just 50 days. We count every day individually. And then we realize and we feel the passing of time. So there are many things when we count that will make us being aware of individuality. And I think it's an important thing. Sorry, I will read a little bit here the comments. Brenda says, the proper greeting for Shavuot, Chag Shavuot Sameach? Yes, that's the way. You can also say Chag Sameach, but Chag Shavuot Sameach is better. Glenn, you said mezuzah. Protection comes from the acts of affixing the mezuzah on the mezuzah itself. What did I miss with the mezuzah? Why we're talking protection?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it isn't protection. It isn't protection. It's just a reminder.
No, but I'm trying to understand why the comment.
Oh, I don't know.
It's something.
I-
David Grossman, that is applied to red heifers as well. They were so rare that I don't know how any of the. No, it's a question here that I. No, Glenn Anderson says similar to the mezuzah, protection comes from the act of fixing mezuzah, not the mezuzah itself. So, okay, let's continue with this counting thing because, as I mentioned, there is a connection with the parsha. This week's parsha is talking about the census and how it was necessary, but it also comes, let's say, because it was the golden calf, right? Many were killed, so we have to count again. There went a war, somebody attacked, we have to count again. So there are many countings in the Torah. So, in Hebrew, and this is the interesting thing, and you have to have in mind whenever the word atzeret is used. In Hebrew, the word atzeret is generally translated as assembly. Like Shemini Atzeret, the end of the festival of Sukkot, is the eighth day of assembly. Okay? But it's also the eighth day of conclusion. It has this dual meaning. But actually, the word atzeret, linguistically, the root is related to the word atzor, meaning stop or tarry. Yeah, Glenn said that the comment was simply a comparison earlier. Okay. Let's continue here. Yes.
Those tuning in, are they local? All out of touch.
Both of them.
Judy's local.
Judy.
Sharak. She's here.
The rest are from the States.
Gotta get her back into.
And the Grossmans are in Texas. Amparo, where are you, Amparo?
Florida.
Florida?
Florida.
Glenn is also there. Okay,
Okay. Sorry to.
so yeah, I can count here. We have 9 people on the other side.
On the other side.
9 people. Okay, he commanded us. Now I will bring the words of the Ramban with an N. Nachmanides, not confused with the Ramban Maimonides, because they couldn't be more different. Such a similar name and so different way of looking at the world between the two. Maimonides, a rationalist. Nachmanides, a mystic. Okay? And in fact, Nachmanides, who was almost a contemporary of Maimonides, he came after. Okay? He used to say for a few things, you should not listen to Maimonides. Because Maimonides had this, for example, this theory that the only one who experienced God's prophecy while awake was Moses. All the others were on dreams. And Nachmanides disagreed with that. And then he said, mine is the right interpretation. You should not listen to Maimonides. It's almost like politicians in this day, right? That they mention actually by name the guy on the other side. You know, in countries like Argentina, that's forbidden. When you campaign, you cannot mention other people's names. It's forbidden by law.
It was easier for my Maimonides because Maimonides was dead.
Yeah, I guess. So,
Yeah, to do it when he's alive, yeah.
so Nachmanides said, God commanded us to observe the festival of Matzot for 7 days, Pesach, with sanctity at the beginning and at the end, right? That's what the festival works. We have Yontif at the beginning, Yontif at the end, and then Chol HaMoed in the middle, the intermediate days, that they are not fully festive. And God counted 49 days after Pesach right? And God sanctified the 8th day, says Nachmanides. But he says in this context, that means the day immediately after the 7 weeks, like the 8th day of the festival of Sukkot, and the intervening counted days are like Chol HaMoed, between the first day and the last day of Sukkot. So this is fantastic. What Nachmanides is saying here is that the counting of the Omer is like a long Chol HaMoed, with Pesach at the beginning and Shavuot at the end. How do we know that? Because, like say, at Pesach, you have a week in between, right? Sukkot, a week in between. But here you have 7 weeks. It's also a cycle of 7. So Pesach opens, Shavuot closes. Interesting. So that 50th day is the day of the giving of the Torah, which God showed them his great fire, and they heard his word out of the fire. For this reason, our sages of blessed memory always call Shavuot Atzeret, because it's like the 8th day of Sukkot, which the Torah describes in that way. 8th day of Sukkot is Shmini Atzeret, and because this is also the day after the Chol HaMoed, it's called Atzeret as well. That's the interpretation of Nachmanides. And if you don't believe him, he will say, don't listen to Phyllis. That's Nachmanides. He was very, very direct. Okay. Next. Now, the Talmud reveals yet another distinguishing feature of the holiday of Shavuot. Okay? The Midrash tells us that there are 4 days during the year when God judges the world with regard to various things. One of the judging days you probably already know, Yom Kippur, right? So we have it like this. So although the most famous one is actually said Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur is the end, right? When judgment is pronounced in general on everyone in the world, there are certain natural phenomena for which individual days of judgments are designated. How so? On Shavuot, God decrees how much fruit will be produced by the trees during the coming year. Another day will be how much water, for example, right? But this one is specifically about how much fruit you're going to have, how much crops. When is that judgment day? On Shavuot. But that's why also then you're going to better understand a little bit why we stay awake all night studying. It makes sense because it's a judgment day, Shavuot. Yeah, and this is from the Mishnah, by the way. It's a Mishnah, Masechet Rosh Hashanah, chapter 1, Mishnah number 2. There it says, there are 4 times each year that the world is judged, and then the Mishnah says on Shavuot for the fruit of the trees. Now, it's interesting. The other thing that we have to understand is, remember we mentioned Pesach on one side, Shavuot in the other. Shavuot and Pesach are opposites. Let me explain. What do you eat in Pesach?
Matzah.
Sorry?
Matzah.
What is matzah?
Unleavened bread.
What do you eat in Shavuot?
Leavened bread.
Leavened bread. It has to be leavened. On Shavuot, the offering, so basically back in the day, on Pesach, there was an offering of unleavened bread in the altar. On Shavuot, the offering is 2 loaves of wheat bread. And the word lechem, bread, like leaven, is used. So it's it's the opposite. The rabbis explain actually that the main difference between Pesach and Shavuot is that on Pesach, you would say when we start counting the Omer, is related to the beginning of the harvest of the barley. And Shavuot is the harvest of the week, of the wheat. That the wheat is not ready to be harvested at the time of Pesach. So you have to wait until Shavuot. I talked with Patrick Eleazar about this, and he explained to me it takes longer for wheat to mature than for barley. And the other thing that you have to remember, and this is amazing, that barley that is ready to start being harvested at the time of Pesach, which Pesach is the time of freedom, right? Barley is food for animals. That's why I never had the barley soup here. That's why. That's why. And I think that's the soup of the day.
Bean and barley was
Bean and,
fantastic.
yeah.
Bean and-
I don't really like that soup. Every time I come, I said, give me whatever you have that is not bean and barley. I don't care what it is. Potato, lentils, tomato, just whatever. Just not bean and barley. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. So, if barley is on Pesach, and Pesach represents freedom, right? And then 50 days later is wheat. Wheat is human food, right? Bread is human food. And Shavuot represents the giving of the Torah, right? What it's telling you at a symbolic level is that freedom is good for us, but just freedom relates to us as an animal level, right? If we don't have the Torah, which represents the law, when human beings are able to figure out and put together a moral code, that's what makes us different from animals. So freedom is great, but it's the entry level. Just the freedom by itself, it won't take you anywhere unless you get a law to protect that freedom and to give sense to that freedom. So that's why Shavuot, we eat bread, which is human food. I think Eitan Peach is here. Welcome. Amparo lives in California, San Diego, California.
Other end of the country. Of their country.
Let me read this next one. So, talking about the loaves. Now, Rabbi Shlomo Ephraim and Aaron Lunchitz, this is Poland, mid 1600s, okay, early 1600s. He said, he starts his words, this rabbi, by reminding us the words of the Torah. You shall offer a new offering of 2 loaves to God. That's Shavuot. That is written in the Torah related to Shavuot. You shall offer a new offering of 2 loaves to God. This is a sign of the day of the giving of the Torah, because the Torah must be new to a person as if he received it from Mount Sinai that very day. Remember what we said at the beginning? We don't call it receiving of the Torah, we call it giving of the Torah, and also the fact that the date of the revelation is not written, it's not explicitly mentioned, is because we shouldn't go through life believing that the Torah was revealed on one specific day. The Torah gets revealed anew every day, and we have an opportunity to receive the Torah every day of the year. So, the reason that the Torah does not explicitly mention that this is the day of the giving of the Torah, why is that? God did not want to limit the giving of the Torah to a single day, because a person should feel every single day of the year as he received the Torah from Mount Sinai on that very day. Similarly, the sages have said that the words of Torah should be new to a person every day. Not just the Torah, the words of Torah. Not like something old which he can no longer tolerate or relate. That's why we have a mitzvah that's called Talmud Torah. It's a daily mitzvah. Studying Torah is a daily mitzvah, which in this generation we are so blessed. We have a beautiful tool. It's called podcast. which would allow you to start Torah and drive at the same time. Study Torah and drive.
Devar in the car.
Devar in the car. I'd rather have Devar in the bar,
Yeah.
but hey, Devar in the bar is way better. And Devar from afar, when I'm on holiday, it's even better. Yeah, it does. Yeah, the Devar doesn't rhyme with scooter.
School from the shul.
It doesn't.
There you go.
Devar doesn't rhyme with scooter. That's what I write in these days. Okay, the truth is that one does indeed find something new in the Torah every day. One should find something new in the Torah every day. Not that one should. Therefore, the Torah did not specify the day in that it was given. Apart from the hint in the word new to teach that the Torah is like a new offering every day. Okay? So according to this rabbi, that word new in the verse is a hint. It's a hint. A word that it was unnecessary in the context, but they said why the word new was added there as a hint for us to find something new in the Torah every day. And I try to do this. I do it all the time. I have my favorite sites that I play when I drive, when I'm not listening to music. Sometimes I like music as well. Torah is dangerous.
Listening is like,
Yeah, listening.
but it could be a distraction.
Even more so, you can get daydreaming.
Anyway, let's continue. Now, the other thing that is that we have to remember, Rabbi Yeshua also says that being happy on a festival is a mitzvah. Have you ever heard that one?
Yes, from you very recently.
Well, that's why, for example, on Shabbat, we are not allowed to cook
Oh,
or to reheat or anything. On the festival, you can. What's the difference between one and the other? Because on Shabbat, there is not mentioning of rejoicing. It's a day of rest. Not rejoicing, day of rest. The festivals are specifically described a day of joy. Cannot be joy if there is not hot food. Okay, so the rabbis made some ways that would allow us to do some cooking.
which is why you don't have funerals on festivals, because it's not so joyful.
Yeah, or in Shabbat, but
Yeah.
that is also, we do have lots of restrictions, but some of the restrictions on the festival was removed so we can be joyful on the festivals. So, why this rabbi said this? He says, as it was taught, Rabbi Eliezer said that on a festival a person should either eat and drink or sit and learn Torah. Okay? So how do you celebrate? How do you feel joy? You eat and drink, and if you are eating or drinking, you should be studying Torah. Why is that? Why we study?
Gives you joy.
It gives you joy. You know that when you go through a loss, like from the time of death, okay, until the end of the Shiva, you should not study Torah. You know that? Why? Because it's joyful. Studying Torah or Talmud doesn't matter.
It's learning. It's
But it brings joy because of the belief that you are connecting. No, you are connecting with the information that the angel taught you before you were born. We had a midrash that when an angel taught us all the Torah. When we are born, we forget everything. So every time that we study Torah, we are not learning anything new. We are remembering that, and we feel the joy of remembering or the joy of finding something that we thought it was lost. So that's why we don't study Torah during morning. but that includes from the time of death until the end of the Shiva. After the Shiva, you can go back. There are a few things that we could study, but they are like the sad parts of the Talmud, or you can study the Book of Lamentations, things that they are sad, but not for joy. Okay? Rabbi Yeshua says he should divide the day. Okay? Rabbi Yeshua said, you should divide on the festival. You should divide your day, half for eating and drinking. Oh, I love this one. And half for sitting in the Beit HaMidrash, the Torah learning house, and studying Torah. They both derive their position from the same verse. One verse says, it is atzeret, or gathering or ceasing. Remember, we studied the two meanings of atzeret, right? Would be either gathering or stopping, right? One verse says, it is atzeret for the Lord your God. The other verse says, it shall be an atzeret for you. One is atzeret for God, one is atzeret for you. Rabbi Eliezer held that these two verses indicate that a festival should be dedicated either all for God or all for you. But Rabbi Yeshua holds that you should divide the day, half for God and half for you. Rabbi Eliezer says that everyone agrees that on Shavuot, for you is also required. Why? Because it is the day that the Torah was given to you. So in these words, studying Torah is what you do for God, eating is what you do for you. So because you have to have both components, during the festival we study Torah and we eat. Right? Rashi adds a little bit more to this, and Rashi says, we also required for you, because a person rejoices with food and drink to show that the day that Israel received the Torah is pleasing and enjoyable. Okay? When we do not feast, or when but Yom Kippur we don't eat, but we don't feast when we are sad.
Yeah, more sad time of month.
It's when you're feeling well, you're depressed. You don't eat, or you just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you're feasting, you are expressing joy. Okay, so let's continue. Now, Shavuot is a very holy festival, when God sanctified us with His Torah and mitzvot and selected us from amongst the nations to be His treasure nation. If not for this day, we would have been like Sodom and Gomorrah, lawless, right? Lawless. And the heavens and earth will not have been able to exist. Thus, it is appropriate to rejoice on that day. It is impossible not to rejoice because the Torah and mitzvot are better for us than all the good things in this world and the entire life in the next world. Let me explain this. It's fascinating. Number one, why are we so happy during Shavuot? Because thanks to the Torah that gave us the moral compass, we deserve to be alive, and we are alive, right? Wouldn't you celebrate when the day that you got the medicine that keeps you alive? Okay? And number two, it says the Torah and mitzvot, the Torah and commandments are better for you than all the good things of this world and the entire life in the next world. Why would it be better? We can understand the first part of the statement, that the Torah and commandments are better than all the material things, right? But how can you explain that the Torah and commandments are better than the other world? Better than paradise? How do you explain that part?
To me, it's because one is real for you and the other one is hoped for you.
Okay, very interesting. Any other guess?
God gave us the Torah as opposed to earning a place in the afterlife.
Okay. Well, let me tell you that the rabbis say that a life of Torah and commandments gives you a taste of the world to come But the problem with the world to come is a place of bliss. But there is one thing that is missing there. What is missing in the world to come?
So,
Something that you will never be able to accomplish there.
do mitzvahs.
Doing.
Yeah.
In the world to come, you cannot do. You cannot fulfill commandments. The book of Psalms says, Lo hameitim yahallelu. You know what it means? Lo hameitim yahallelu. The dead don't praise God. Don't praise God. He said the Psalm, Lo hameitim yahallelu. The dead, lo hameitim, but dead. Lo hameitim yehallelu. Yah, the name of God. So the dead cannot praise God. But we can. We can do something that they can't. So the Torah, right, is allowing us to relate to this world in a special way, right? But we also have an advantage over the other world. That's why it says here, this rabbi, that it is impossible not to rejoice because the Torah and commandments are better for us than all the good things of this world and the entire life in the next world. We have an edge over both worlds with Torah observance. Beautiful thing. So we celebrate. That's why Shavuot should be so festive. Go order the cheesecake.
It's all about the cheesecake.
It's all about the cheesecake. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, listen to this one. I think we start wrapping up with this. I love this story. I love it. It says, a rabbi once delivered a lecture in which he remarked that a person who provides the funds for Torah study will enjoy the same reward in the next world as the Torah scholars themselves. So basically, the rabbi said in the lecture, Torah scholar will have like a ticket to the world to come, but the person who provided the funds for that scholar to become a scholar would also have a ticket, right? After this lecture, he was approached by a wealthy man who challenged the rabbi. Rabbi, why should I bother to exert myself to study Torah? Okay? All I have to do is to make donation to Torah institutions, and I'll be assured immeasurable reward in the world to come. I don't need to study. All I have to do is to donate to you, right? So somebody else can study. So don't bug me. Don't stop calling me to come to your lectures. The rabbi regarded the wealthy man with an expression of utter seriousness and responded, "It is true that your portion of the world to come will be the same, but your life in this world will not be comparable." So basically, that's what he said. The Torah brings us at a higher level in both places. So yes, Torah, it's all good. You will have your spot there. But how can the Torah make your life better here? That's the thing. Give yourself the opportunity to study Torah and to navigate this world with a different light. That's the thing. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Welcome. Okay, David Grossman, what do you say here? Cheesecake is great. It's great, unless a person has lactose intolerance. Yeah,
That's a problem.
you wouldn't be able to dance then. Yes. But the thing is, why do we have the cheesecake? Do you know why we have cheesecake?
Oh, for Shavuot?
Yes.
Because they didn't get the laws of kashrut.
That's one with, yeah.
That's
Okay, so that is the most famous explanation. They said the Torah was revealed, and it says there how they have to slaughter animals in the kosher way. And then they say, whoa, we don't know how to do it. We have to be trained. It's going to take time. What can we eat meanwhile? What do you eat if you cannot eat?
no.
Milk, cheese, right? That is one explanation of what is. What is that? The other thing is because, the same way that we say that the land of Israel is a land of honey and milk, sometimes the Torah is compared with that as well. So that's another explanation why we do that. And in these days, that's why we have the cheesecake. The cheesecake. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much again for participating today. And remember, we have this Saturday, don't miss the bar mitzvah. They are going to have an amazing speech about this. And the tikkun is next Tuesday. The tikkun, we had the tradition to study on Shavuot, is next Tuesday evening at the Etz Chaim, at the new Etz Chaim. Don't go north. Otherwise, you're going to be converted in the church that they bought the building. It's a church now. I think it's from, what is the country? It's one of the African countries. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Is that the Eritrean?
Yes. Yeah.
Eritrea, which is a sub-tribe of the Ethiopians.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Chag Sameach in advance. And I'm serious. Get cheesecake. Get blintzes.
It's easy to digest, easier than meat.
Bring on the dairy.
Bring on the dairy. Yes, sir. Well, the class is going to be rebroadcasted tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time anyway, in case you want to catch it again. Until that time, thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
You're good. Nope, you're good at all. Thank you. Okay.